Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach. What's going on, guys? Hope you're well. It's that back end of the week now. It's got a bit of a Thursday cruiser night for mine. It's been a solid week. It's been a good week, but it's just got that vibe about it. Just going to break the week up with a few cheeky little beverages after this, so it should be a bit of fun. Saturday, house party, like I said to you guys last week. Kept it pretty chill last weekend, but rallying the troops this weekend. House party. Should be a bit of fun. Haven't had a bit of a do at Shorty's place for a while now, so that should be pretty reasonable. Had the Year 8 footy as well on Tuesday. That was good fun, man. It really took me back, like, just to playing footy when it was just fun, It's just good fun. We barely had to do anything. Shorty wasn't coaching or anything like that. Literally just went along, get around them, handing snakes out. It's just good stuff. It was funny. One of the kids was giving some flack to the other bloke that I was with, one of the other teachers, and they were getting stuck into each other. Mate, you won't get a kick, sort of thing. The kid kicked 3 in the first half of the first game. At one point, he kicked his third and he yelled out across the pocket all the way to the boundary. He's like, "That's for you, Mr. fucking whoever it was." I was like, wow, it was an absolute pisser. Then we're getting smashed in this other game. And at halftime, we're like, you may as well just go and find a kick, defenders. You may as well, or forwards. You're probably not going to get a kick. So go to the defence. We had one person in the forward line. At one point, he was doing push-ups. He had some other school like counting him up to 10. Just kept doing push-ups. It was funny stuff. But good day. It was great fun. So on Sunday, Shorty with the golf clubs, mate, shot 89 at Queen's Park. Now, you might be sitting there going, Shorty, I've played that course before. I shoot in the 80s all the time. But for Shorty, that was something special. I was up and about that. I birdied a par 5. Never done that in my life. Whopper drive down the middle, nice little 7-iron, and then I kind of chunked the chip a little bit. Like, I don't know if chunk's the right word, but it went a bit lower than I thought. Just got real nice bounce, just skimmed, and I was like, "Daddy, yes!" And then just nice little 1.5 meter putt, straight in, baby. What's up? Anyway, tonight, what are we talking about? We'll have a look at the teams in a sec, and of course, Oliver was the main point of discussion. I'll tell you what I'm doing with him. Redmond got a bit of a talk. Noah Anderson, Bailey Smith, bit of chit-chat. So let's have a look at these teams, shall we? And as we say each and every week, just no carnage, mate. No carnage. No surprises. We know Clayton's out, but no funky surprises, mate. That's okay. One game down. I had no idea who to tip in this game. Swans versus Carlton. No idea. I said to myself when I tipped the Blues over the Saints, I was like, nah, fuck you. Never again. I can't trust you. But there's just something about me that says Carlton. It just says tip them. I don't know why. But then if I tip them and they lose, I'll be extra pissed off at myself. So I don't know. Just a couple of omissions there. Of course, there's Oliver. What are the Cats doing? Never gets omitted. Holmes hurts, yeah. And Simpson rested. Probably not a big surprise to many. Josh Kelly will hurt a few. Fleeton, that might not hurt many, but it'll probably just change the plans of a few. And old mate Oisin Mullen, 102k defender, I think. Apparently very quick Irishman. JJ hurts my draft team. Disappointing. Davey omitted. Surprise. And Kane Baldwin omitted. That's interesting because he was a bit of a different rookie option, like 170 something, but was actually scoring okay and was on the bubble. Fuck you, Campbell Chessie. You're fucking shit. God, that pisses me off. How can you get dropped from that shit kicker of a side? Sorry about that rage moment, but you traded him in and it was a bit left field, but fucking hell. I guess Hearn, Barris and Yo came back, so maybe that was a little over the top, but fucking hell. And you'll be the fucking sub too. God, it'd be so... Anyway, like, why... Campbell Chester's like your first round pick from a year or two ago. Just play the bastard. You're the shittest club in the league, mate. Just give him a go. Why are you playing all these shit kickers ahead of him? Man. Anyway, there's Shorty's rage just coming out, but... Nothing damaging there. Cunnington comes back. Harry Sharp drop. That'll piss a few off, and that is a wrap for the teams. I didn't really look too much at some of the inclusions, but there is quite a few there for both teams. Let's dive into the main point, that is Clayton Oliver. What are you going to do? Trade him. Trade him out, and I'll tell you why. If I can bring up the statement from Goodwin, it was far from convincing. So I was like, 1-2 weeks, like it could be anything. We're taking the cautious approach. It could end up being 4, and we've got so many trades. You may as well use it. Well, most of us should have a lot of trades. I mean, there might be some that... yeah, it's a minor strain. We're going to build him through the process. How long? We don't know. We're going to be very cautious with him as well. So that's a straight-up trade. And the only reason you wouldn't trade him is if it was like disaster. And I feel as if you're really struggling with your trades, it's the only reason. But we've got that many. You should have enough trades for him. And who's the trade? Well, it's Rory Laird for mine. I think I'll go through a few options, but Rory Laird I think is still a top 4 mid, and you're getting him under 600k. If you can bring in Bont and you don't have him already, bring him in. Same can be said for Petrarca. Should get forward status. I know he's a bit down last week. Did play a bit forward. We'll talk about Anderson in a moment. Who else do I like? Sarong, super consistent. There's Laird. There's Walsh. I'm hearing not as much of a chance for forward eligibility now. 41% he needs to play forward this week. Don't know if that'll happen. Then Merritt in a really nice position as well. Brayshaw and Steele also hit back. Lockie Neal as well. You could sell me on that. If I was to rank them, some of those guys, the inclusions would be Laird, Bont, just because I think most people have Bont and Laird at that price. But if you don't have Bont, you should get him. So maybe I should swap those. But anyway, and then I actually feel like Merritt's almost the next best option. Sarong is just super reliable, and you got Neal in there. I mean, I'm probably just putting him down there just because. Oh shit! We have knocked the whole microphone off. Are we still recording? I don't know if he knows. I don't know what's going on with that. Still recording, that's cool, but lost my train of thought there. Yeah, all these guys I think will be good options. I think Neal's just kind of lost. He hasn't lost his ceiling because he scored 170 this year, but those consistent 130s, he's not doing as much. He's still a very, very reliable guy. So I'll be going Laird. I'm hearing McRae could get forward eligibility, which at 550 almost makes him a little interesting as well. But personally, I am going Rory. And for those that are sort of a bit concerned about, how do I get Clayton back? Like, should I hold him? Don't worry about it. Like, you might lose a smidgen in the long run, but whoever holds him, like, you're going to lose so many points. Like, you're going to replace him with, a guy who's going to score 50, 70, 30? You could lose 100 points each week, potentially, at least 60 or 70. So that's a bit if Clayton is out for 4 weeks. If Goodwin came out and said he'll miss 1, probably plays a second, worst case 2, we might consider holding, but there's no real timeline. So I think you got to trade him. That's certainly what I'll be doing. But let's have a look at who else are we going to have a look at. Mason Redmond. Redmond for me is at a good price, but just not someone that I have a hell of a lot of trust in. And I'll show you why. He runs hot, and when he runs hot, he is fantastic. And he's probably in one of those hot patches at the moment. You know, look at these scores, like nice couple of weeks, but he's had a 51. He's had a 49. Great start of the year the start of this year. And last year, similar average sitting at the moment. But look, he runs hot and cold. 176, 152. I think the 49 was injury affected, but look at this hot patch. Went big. But he also is capable of 47, 62. And look at the way he ended the year. He went from ultra hotness to ending with like 260s and a 50. So you can mount the case. He is at a nice price. I'd prefer Adam Sard at that price, to be frank. I get that we do have to go a little bit discount at some stages because we are sort of struggling with our rookies, so I get that. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to go. Just need to inject some cash flow, so I hate people sort of ask the question about Humphrey and Atkins. Is it too late to get him? I've been asking myself the same question. Like, is it too late to get Weddle? Well, it doesn't taste as good. Doesn't feel as good. I bring him in, it just doesn't feel as good. And the same would be said for Humphrey and Atkins, but it's still a good trade. If I offered you a guy at 230 with a break even of negative 54, I'd take him. But for some reason, my stubborn ass just doesn't want to do it because I missed him twice. So I went fucking Campbell Chesser trying to be creative, bro. But anyway, it is what it is. So that's the way I look about it. Anderson is a trade. It's really been a disaster, that trade, for those that bought him in. Very disappointing. I think his real value lies in when Miller's not there, and he's disappointed us even when Miller hasn't been there these last couple of weeks. So that says to me he's probably not a long-term top 10 midfielder. So I'd prefer to go elsewhere, and he's going to leak some serious cash. So I feel like it's a trade, but you might have bigger fish to fry. And Bailey Smith has been a great option. I mentioned him 3-4 weeks ago when he was coming back. I said keep an eye on him. So hopefully you did. I don't think he's a top 6 forward, particularly not if Petrarca gets status and Gawn gets forward status. But what he is a very consistent player. When a guy like Treloar comes back, it might affect him sort of negatively. He might get pushed out a bit, but he's a very good player, and he might not average 100 plus, but I think he's going to be a real lock for around that 100, high 90s. Don't expect this every week. He's had a good month, but it will fluctuate, particularly if they do have a full midfield, the doggies. But yeah, definitely solid option for that price for sure. Not a bloke that I'd be like, you got to get him in or you'll miss the boat. And that's about all we had for that. I'm trying to think if there was much else that got spoken about. Captaincy options. I mean, Laird's the last game of the week. You probably get the sense Bontempelli's maybe up and about for a big one. Can't remember who they're playing. Playing the Suns, so Darwin, yeah, it's hard to know any sort of a form line on that. But yeah, I haven't really thought about it, but I feel like Laird is a strong chance to be my skipper. I'd love to go a bit of a point of difference with my VC. I haven't landed a good VC for a while, so I feel like I want to take that risk. I wish Dawson was a bit earlier in the round. I feel like he's due for a big one, but without Clarry in there, it takes away a few of my options. But yeah, pretty happy with the team overall. I think what I'll do, Ford and Wardlaw were a couple of guys that were spoken about as well. You can go early on them. I don't think it's a disaster. Ideally, you give it 2 weeks. I always think it's a great thing to do. We saw what giving 2 weeks to Horn Francis can do. That second week was nowhere near as good as his first week. And Drury scores a nice, solid score first week, then comes out and scores 17, followed by 13 or whatever it was last week. So there is merit in giving it those rookies and players that we're not sure on 2 weeks, just to get as big a sample size as we possibly can. But I understand that it is a bit trickier to navigate at the moment with all our trades. Potentially you don't have any boosts and that type of thing. So going them this week, not a bad idea. I've brought in Weddle and Laird this week, as you can see. And I think next week McVie to Wardlaw and Van Rooyen to Ford. Get a fair bit of cash, and then I might be able to upgrade Atkins or Humphrey and just see what I can do. But yeah, again, I'll enter those buys with a fair bit of cash and we'll splash it around. So now's the time to get the old pen and paper out, look at your teams, look at the buys, go into each position, find out where you might be running a bit thin and try and make some of those 50-50 calls that are hard to split. You might be able to split them purely on what suits your buy structure best. But yeah, I'm going to rock and roll, get stuck in the rest of the night, do my TikTok for my trades. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll be back with the old press conference on Sunday. Shorty may be a little bit dusty at that point. Hopefully I've recovered by Sunday night. But nonetheless, I'll look forward to it. Have a good week. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.